I'm going to go ahead and start this off, guys, and welcome, hey, to the 2024 mid-year online marketing plan workshop for auto shops. And I've mentioned this a few times to people already, but if you just joined us, this will be primarily geared towards the 5 growth strategies that I like to call growth strategies for auto shops. And how long will this be? We could talk all day about this, but ideally, I want to respect your time. And the first part, it'll be basically 2 parts. The first part will be the growth strategies, the overview piece for you to understand that. If you just listen to that, that's really everything you need for what works. The next piece will be the live demo. I'm going to go into an actual Google Ads account, walk you through setting things up. Again, that could be hours as well, but ideally 15, 20 minutes or so. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the keys for auto shop growth, how Google Ads specifically can help your shops, and then give you the Google Ads setup demo. So ideally, the overall goal is to help you increase your shop's car count in 2024. Talking about the 5 keys for auto shop growth, I'm going to mention these things here in a second, but the goal is to get you more calls, quotes, and ultimately customers. In order to get customers, you need people to either call you or give you a quote request on your website or your ad. It doesn't really typically work that you just get the customer. It's going to take those first 2 pieces. And the strategies that we talk about actually end up working to get lots of calls and quote requests for these different shops that I talk about. Who is this workshop for? It's really the ones that I just mentioned that the strategies have worked for: auto repair shops, body collision shops, detailers, PDR, including hail, and custom shops. If you're in any of those or have some kind of variation on those, detailers could be auto, could be boat, could be other auto repair, could be glass, could be stuff like that. In any of those, it will typically work as well for you. Whether you're just starting out in business or you've been doing this for years, you're going to see that this does work. The real requirement is that you just want to grow. You want more customers. People might think, well, of course we want more customers, more business. Yes, most businesses do. But then the ones who have been around realize that if you get more business, there's going to be issues as far as how do you fulfill? How do you answer all the customers' clients' needs? You may need more employees. Those are pieces. I do get that people come to me saying, I can't take more customers. It's also not necessarily designed for car dealerships or sales specifically. Although all the strategies we talk about do actually work, there's a little bit of different nuances for those specific ones. If you have auto body or auto repair detailing in that, then it would probably work as well. Real quick, who am I? You may have seen me before, seen me around. We may have actually had a call. But my background is 21 years in the Navy, retired. I actually flew this cool helicopter and did deployments around the world. But since then, I've been helping different businesses across the country to get more calls and more quote requests and more customers, and primarily auto-related businesses. We do help others as well, but Google partners, business partners. As far as the keys to your business growth, let's start out with this key number 1. Again, I'm going to go through this quickly because the real key is Google Ads. But in order to do Google Ads, you really need these pieces. You need a website, Google Business, and Facebook Business. The Facebook Business side doesn't really help you with Google Ads, but it helps you generally speaking. Website, you need that. And this all is common sense, but people don't have it. If you need any of these things, we can help you, or someone can. Google Business and Facebook are free. I've got videos and things on how to do that for free as well. Website does cost a little bit, but you can get a lower cost one too. But really, you need this in order to use Google Ads. How do most auto shops get customers? And I'd ask you this question, but most of you would probably tell me if you're not doing ads, it's either word of mouth or referrals. And those are great ways to get customers. Obviously, we want people to spread our name. We want referrals. But you can't rely on that day in, day out, especially if you have a volume business, if you have big bays, if you have a lot of opportunities to grow. We want those, but it's not a reliable growth strategy. What is? Before I get to that, let's think about what causes businesses to fail. If you think about it, there's a lot of things out there, but the number one thing to me, if you break it down, is that people don't know you. You can be the greatest PDR tech, the greatest mechanic, the greatest detailer. You might have the greatest restaurant in the world, but if no one knows about you, then you can't grow. You can't have business. This is all basic, simple knowledge, but I see it, and you guys probably see it in your communities as well. It's not the market, inflation, or economy. It's the fact that people don't know you. And I would argue for us in this room, the auto people, everyone needs their car to work. That's auto repair, auto body stuff. But for the guys who work on auto related kind of cosmetic PDR detailing, other stuff, people are more willing to spend money in their cars and sometimes their houses or anything. A lot of people love their cars and they're willing to spend money on it. That's a big piece to keep in mind. What are shops missing? Here's where we're going to get to the growth strategies. And most have these pieces. If you don't have this website, Google Business, Facebook, you can add that pretty easily. But that doesn't get you customers necessarily. You need the piece to drive traffic to your website, to your business, and traffic meaning people who are searching or online. And here's how you do it: Google ads, Facebook ads. We're not going to talk about Facebook today. It's definitely a great strategy I recommend as well, but we're going to talk about Google and then tracking and automated follow-ups. Talking about Google ads, this is my key number 2, but it's getting in front of people who are searching for your service. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in a few minutes, but it's how to get customers who are searching online for your shop. You can do this right now on your phone. You can do it on Google. And when people pull up Google or a Google related index type search, and people search for auto repair or fix my car or get rid of my dent or, I need someone to clean my car, any variations of those things and in your specific industry, ideally your shop comes up if it's related to that. Those are people searching. It's also Google Maps. If someone's like, mechanic near me, where's the closest mechanic near me? Or where's the closest detailing shop? Ideally, that pulls up on Google Maps. Those 2 things are how you're going to get in front of people searching. Now, here's a quick question for you. Hopefully, we've already answered this, but should your auto shop use Google Ads? There are a couple conditions, and let me go into that really quick. Here's the shops that should use Google Ads. It's all the ones I've already mentioned. If you're in any of these shops, yes, you should use Google Ads. There's a bit of a caveat for ones that have a limited budget. If you have a low budget or you're just starting out, it's a question between Facebook and Google, but auto repair, body shops, and PDR are the ones that should absolutely start with Google. But I had this yellow line above PDR because in certain areas, if it's a smaller volume area, you may be better off starting with Facebook. This just depends on your area. The bottom 2 detailers and custom shops, you definitely can still do Google, but detailers and custom shops should probably start with Facebook. We can go into that. That's a different conversation. Okay. Now, how does Google Ads help you get customers for your auto shop? It helps with 2 ways we've mentioned already: is phone calls, 1 phone calls, and 2 is leads via a quote request. You want people to either call you directly from your ad or give you their name, email, phone number, stuff about their car, pictures, etc. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. That's what Google Ads. It's not just going to your website, because that's great, but if they don't give you their information, it's worthless. We want actual leads from calls or quotes. That's what Google Ads can do for you. The other question is, people ask me this, is how long does it take for Google Ads to work? If it's dialed in correctly to start with, and if you have an existing account, it can work quickly. It can work in the first few weeks or first month. But I will say that Google takes time, a little bit of time and data. The data that it needs is when people click on your ad, when people search for auto repair or mechanic near me, if they pull up your ad and give you a call or fill out the form, then Google knows that, okay, this is the right person to send you. If it's not working, if you don't have things set up correctly, then Google doesn't know, and then it's hard for them to fix that. It's a great system, but they need some data for it to work. And you need to make sure you're optimizing things. If people are searching for car parts and your shop comes up, well, that may not work out too well. You have to correct that in the ad. Ideally, the first month it does start working, but after several months, it's just going to get better and better. Facebook is a little bit quicker. Here's an example of what Google Ads looks like when you're pulling up. I'm going to give you two examples. Here's a PDR example, paintless dent repair. This, you could picture kind of auto body as well, but you think of any example here. I'm going to give you a mechanic near me as well, but here's what ideally something comes up and you have these links to your website. But if you have this big piece on the Google ad, it really helps. But as you can see, you have the phone number and you have this other piece on the ad. If someone's doing this from their phone during the normal day, then someone should click on the call button. Ideally, they pick up the phone and call you or click right here. We don't want this to show up at night unless you have a call service. It's pointless unless you're 24/7. But normal hours, we want the call button. After hours, we want them to click this page here. And what happens? I'm going to show you what happens here. You should go to a landing page, but let me show you a mechanic one as well. A mechanic near me, and this wording may sound a little strange, but there's actually a huge volume of people who look for a mechanic near me. When the wording comes up exactly as the search goes, then it actually makes sense to people. Oh, there's a mechanic near me. It's Fast Free Estimates. Here's the actual name of the business, but all this stuff actually helps you to get the click. And the click, what happens when you go to this click? Ideally, it goes to a landing page. When someone clicks on your ad, they should come to a landing page, not your website. Your website should be good. But if they come to your website and it has 10, 15, 20 different options, people get confused and they don't do it. Here they come to a landing page. Obviously, this is just a top example, but this will be a little bit longer. But it's, hey, something repair shop, auto body repair shop, paintless dent repair shop, something like that. Get a fast dent repair quote or get a fast detailing quote or whatever. And then here's a way for them to get the quote. Now we have more advanced forms in this at this point, but give me your name, email, phone number, click next, give me your pictures, what kind of car do you have, etc., and submit it. That's what we want. That's how we're going to get the lead off a landing page. If you go to your website, a lot of times people don't necessarily do it. That is the landing page. That is the Google ad overview. The next piece is what happens when someone fills this out. You don't want it to do nothing. You want them to get a follow-up. And the last thing you want is you to start getting leads and then be like, oh, I got to respond to this guy. We're going to respond automatically. Yes, you need to call them and respond, but we want automated follow-ups because you shouldn't be doing that at 10, 12 at night. We do an automated follow-up. We'll send them a text and an email. And what you need to do is you need to send them a text telling them whatever it is you want them to do. If it's, hey, give us your year, make, and model, or click here and schedule, or give us a call back. A lot of times you want to call them, but sometimes just tell them to call you. And then you want a notification to your team. You want a notification to your sales team or whoever is going to call these people back, or just let you know that these people are contacting you. That way you're keeping track of it. You also want to send an email. Now, I realize email, most people don't read it, but some people do, and it actually gets in their system in case they're looking up. They're like, hey, what's that? I forget the name of that company that I requested the quote from. But here, send the email to the lead, tell them what to do. If you want to send an email to your team, it's good as well. You can do that. We actually do that for customers. The automated follow-up piece is used for Google Ads. You want to make sure you're using this for Google Ads for your website. If you're doing Facebook ads, you need to do it for that as well. Have the automated follow-ups for text, email, voicemails, appointment reminders. If you guys may have got those reminders that we sent today. And then request reviews. Whenever someone completes a service, then they should get an automated text and email to say, hey, will you review us? That is the appointment, the follow-ups. And the next piece is the customer tracking. Now that you've got all these leads coming in, you need a way to track them. I realize that shops have different kind of estimating software. That's all good, and you should be using that. Sometimes that software isn't tracking people very well. Whether you use this or not, we have a system like this that everyone can use. You should be tracking them through your pipeline until the sale is complete. Ideally, you have a way to message and call those leads back through your system and basically track them and see what those leads are worth. Customer tracking, you're going to track leads, set appointments, respond via text and email, and send out reviews and email offers. That's the customer tracking. That is in a rapid way, in 20 minutes. That's the 5 keys for auto shop growth. I didn't talk about the Facebook ad part, but ideally that just showed you what you need is your website, Facebook, Google Business to show up. There's 1,000 other places you can be, but that's your basis for your online presence. If you have that set up, you can then run Google ads to your website. You need the follow-ups for your Google ads and for all these things and customer tracking. Now, once you have all that in place, if things are running correctly, you should be looking at getting leads in. Okay, now let's go to the live demo. Before I do that, I know some people might want to jump off, but before I do that, the next steps would probably be for anyone here. Obviously, you can try it on your own, and got some people trying to join here. You can do this on your own. Obviously, it does take time and opportunity cost to learn that. Obviously, you can get our help to grow faster. What I would say is, if you want help and if you fit kind of the stuff that we talked about, that you want more customers, then look at scheduling a call with us and we can see if that makes sense. We have kind of packages for different people because every shop is at a different point, but you should have probably gotten an email about that before.